All right, I got to get something off my chest in this video. What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are talking about streamers and how they are ruining Battlefield 6, but not just Battlefield 6. As you guys know, I'm a Call of Duty channel. I really don't care about Battlefield 6. Like, if it destroys Call of Duty, like, that's great. You know, fantastic. I'm still going to play my game. You guys play your game. And that's something that Face Swag, actually, who's the main, point of this video, he's going to be the main guy I'm talking about in this particular video. He actually talks about gatekeeping from Battlefield fans. And while, I, in theory, should take offense to this as a Call of Duty player, Battlefield players want to kind of gatekeep from Call of Duty players because it's like, leave our game alone, you go ruin your game. And what they mean is like the slide canceling, the wanting kill streaks, the individualism versus like the teamwork. Because as you guys know, Call of Duty players are very individualistic. You say you're on a team throwing up UAVs and ballistic vests and things like that. But at the end of the day, you want your attack helicopter. You want your kill streak. You want your nuke, right? You don't really care if your friend gets a nuke because you're upset because they, stole your kills. And that's what Call of Duty players are known for. That's what they're about. At the end of the day, I can admit it. I'm a Call of Duty player and I play selfishly. I sometimes ignore the objective. Now, I think Call of Duty has done a good job of incentivizing players to go for the objective compared to like way back in the day. But recently, it's come to everyone's knowledge that Battlefield 6, the beta has just finished. And like many people, Face Swag here was sponsored by EA. Now, as you guys know, he's a Warzone streamer. He's a Call of Duty player for years and years, probably longer than most people watching this video have even, heard of Call of Duty. This dude's been playing it. And so he's a COD fan. He likes COD at the end of the day. Yes, some of them suck more than others, but he will play Call of Duty no matter what. That's what he does, is what he's paid for. He's also, in this case, paid for by EA. And, he wanted to play the Battlefield beta. Obviously, they paid him. I don't know how much of it he'd play without. But obviously, people like the Battlefield 6 beta. There's obviously problems from weekend 2. We could talk about that in a future video. I'm sure you guys have seen, a ton. If you play the game, I'm sure you've seen a ton as well. Everyone talking about it on Twitter and Reddit, matchmaking queues, things like that. But Call of Duty players are supposedly ruining the matches, and Face Swag is kind of like the head guy who's getting crucified right now in terms of that. And so I want to talk about the situation, but unfortunately, even though I'm a Call of Duty fan, I can't get on board with what he's, kind of talking about. He doesn't understand what Battlefield 6 is, what Battlefield is, right? So let me explain to you guys. I'm not even that big into Battlefield myself, but I kind of know my place, and I think he may need some help with this. So at the end of the day, right, Battlefield is a team-oriented game, and it's not about kill chasing. It's not about just getting as many kills as you can and then just losing the game, which a lot of Call of Duty players are used to. They don't care if they lose a domination match, 80 to 200, if they dropped like 2 nukes or, 5 choppers or whatever, right? They don't care, because to them, that individual kill chasing, that individual scoreboard and KD at the end of the day is what matters most to them. Battlefield players are a different breed. They, and you guys, I guess, watching, you guys don't care about that, right? And so you guys care about teamwork. You guys care about like winning, and Call of Duty players don't necessarily care about those things. And so obviously Battlefield players are going to be like, hey, COD players, go away. I want to win the game. I want to work with my team. And Call of Duty players are obviously not. It's kind of like, if you throw like a cat into like a dog pen or whatever, and then, you're like, hey, work together, right? Like they're obviously going to be different, right? And it's like, no, not one is like better than the other. It's just like, you play how you want in your game, and then I play how I want in my game. And that's what creates like homeostasis. That's what creates like, you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. But the thing is, when Call of Duty players hop on over to another game, it's kind of like, if LeBron James wanted to play like soccer or something like that, and he's like, you guys should really use your hands. And then like, instead of kicking it into a goal, you guys should really like, try to shoot it into a goal. It's like, hello, at a certain point, just play your own game. Just play basketball. You don't need to turn soccer into basketball. And I think that's kind of what is happening here. A lot of the Battlefield players, in this case are, soccer fans. They're like, hey, I don't want soccer to be basketball. I like soccer. So let me play with my feet. Let me use my feet. Let me use, not use my hands, things like that. And then basketball players are kind of like, kind of like Swag here. It's like, let me do it how I'm used to doing it, and it's more fun for me. And at that point, just play your own sport, just play your own game. I think a lot of Battlefield players want FaZe swag, and a lot of Call of Duty players to not play their game. And this kind of explains the gatekeeping. Now, I think overall gatekeeping, I'm not going to say I support it. I'm not going to say you should do it if you're part of this, but I will say I understand it. Again, I'm not saying I support it. Okay, don't go around in the comment section, oh man, the Dynamite supports gatekeeping. He's an elitist too. Like, no, I don't support that. I think people should be allowed to try games, but I do think that if you're going to try a game, FaZe swag, in any Call of Duty sweat, if you're trying to play Battlefield, trying to play Rainbow Six, or trying to play Valorant or whatever, you cannot play the game like the game you're used to, like Call of Duty, because you're going to piss people off, especially if you're joining a game that is heavily incentivizing teamwork, right? Whenever you get downed, you need somebody in the support class to revive you. And, in the clips like that is going around, FaZe swag, he's on the support class and he's just like gives up and he just doesn't revive people. And then he gets mad when other people like don't revive him. It's like, what are you doing, bro? How selfish can you be? Now, Call of Duty players, again, they're known to be selfish. It's not like, I don't want to say it's not a bad thing, because obviously like selfishism is a bad thing. But it's not a bad thing in the world of Call of Duty. But if you take it over to another game, yeah, it's going to be a wrong thing. People are going to hate you. People are going to be like, what the hell are you doing? Right? So anyway, FaZe swag was basically caught in 4K using the support class, supposed to revive his friends, his buddies, and his teammates, did not do that, and then got mad later. Another thing that he's been talking about, and I don't know, man, he really should have like double checked his stuff before just saying a bunch of stuff. But he basically said Battlefield should add kill streaks like Call of Duty. And this is kind of where a lot of like even his viewer base was kind of just like, bro, I can't get with you anymore. Like, what are you talking about? This is literally like adding like a 3-point line to soccer or something like that. Just adding like, oh, if I shoot from back here, it's worth 2 points instead of 1 goal. Like you can't just add stuff you want and suggest things because it's what you're used to. If you don't follow soccer or basketball, you have no clue what my example and my analogy is. But if you do, you fully understand what I'm talking about. You cannot just bring something that you're used to into it because it's convenient for you, because it's enjoyable for you, because you have fun that way. No. He also admits that he plays for clips and content, not objectives, which is fair. He openly admits like, yeah, I play the game to get clips for TikTok, for YouTube, whatever. And he wants to maximize engagement by that because that's what he's used to, right? Like if Steph Curry is used to shooting like 1 million 3-pointers and he's known for being a 3-point specialist, and then you bring him on the soccer field, he's probably going to try to do some like super far shots and trick shots and things like that because he's used to that. He's not going to be used to like, oh, let me pass the ball to someone closer and have them score or something like that. Like it's fine. It's really fine. But if you're Steph Curry, if you're FaZe swag, if you're joining the opposition or like the other game, the other team, the other sport, don't give suggestions. Especially, this is like if LeBron James told Messi, like, soccer would be more fun if you had like a 3-point line. Like, no, like Messi literally has been playing soccer since he could probably breathe. Like, he doesn't need to be told, what you think his sport needs. That's basically what's going on here. He really just plays for clips and content. Again, he's a content creator. I'm not going to fault him for that. But if you're openly admitting that and you're saying like, hey, I don't want to hop on flags, I don't want to destroy tanks, and I don't want to play the objective, well, guess what? A lot of the fan base ain't going to like you. It's literally like saying like, yeah, I'm going to play basketball with you, LeBron, but I'm not going to pass. I'm not going to shoot. I'm just going to hold the ball. Like, okay, like have fun making friends in the NBA if you're going to be like that. Like you have to adapt. You have to play how the game is supposed to be played. Like you can't play chess. Let me just make up my own rules for chess because, I like checkers more. Like that's not how it works. He also accused, people of cheating, which I mean, I don't know. That's fine, I guess. Everyone accuses someone at some point. But essentially what this boils down to is, the Battlefield community isn't going to like streamers, isn't going to like Call of Duty players because they don't want us, and we in theory don't want them, right? Think about it. Like we don't really want people like, like imagine if Battlefield 6 players came into Call of Duty lobbies and were just like, oh, I don't want you to get the kills. Like, I'm going to sit in the back and not move and, play super strategic the entire time. Like, you as a Call of Duty player in those lobbies would be furious. You'd just be like, wow, why is everybody camping? Why is everybody playing like they have one life, like it's Warzone or something? You'd be so mad, right? Because in my opinion, like, that's not how you play Call of Duty. Call of Duty, you should be running around. You should be trying to have fun. You don't really care if you die, just killing people and then you get killed, try to get a streak here and there. Yeah, sure. If you're on like a 10 kill streak, yeah, you can camp. But, if you're camping at like for no reason, yeah, that's not the most fun. That's not the best use of your time. And I would say that Battlefield 2042, I don't know much about the Battlefield franchise. Again, just mind you, but apparently that game catered to Call of Duty players. That game catered to other like non-Battlefield fans, and then they got upset. The reason why the Battlefield 6 beta was so, loved by the community is because people thought it was a return to Battlefield. It's like if, soccer games just started, stopped doing soccer stuff and started doing basketball stuff. And it was like, oh yeah, for this year's FIFA game, we're going to go back to how soccer is normally played. Like, obviously people who like soccer are going to go back to that game. It's like simple as that. If FIFA of like, 2023 was like basically NBA 2K, and then 2025, they come back and they're like, yeah, FIFA is back to how it used to be. Guess who's coming back to that game? And they don't want NBA 2K players joining that game either. That's basically, the main point. Battlefield is for team objectives. And there is, in theory, a wrong way to play this game. If you're a solo player just chasing kills and ignoring objectives, technically, yes, that is the wrong way to play. I think FaceSwag remarked in one of his clips, he's like, yeah, I don't know what the right way to play is. Like, tell me what the right way to play is. And that's fine. If you're new to it, I'm not going to crucify you for not knowing what Battlefield is or not knowing how to play. But don't offer suggestions on something you don't know. Again, I'm not going to tell a mechanical engineer how to fix something. I'm not going to tell Steve Jobs or I don't know, whoever's running Apple these days, like how to make an iPhone. Like if you're not an expert at it, if you're not anywhere in the world of like, oh, I know more than you, like don't talk about it. Just play the game and leave remarks, but don't like, you can give suggestions. I don't even want to say that. You can give suggestions, but I would say try to adapt first before just like, oh, this game is weird. Let me just incorporate what I'm used to. Like, that's not going to get anyone anywhere. People are going to get mad at you. I think FaceSwag is like scratching his head, like wondering, why are people so mad at me? Like, this is why, hopefully this video broke it down. Doubt he's going to watch this, but if he ever does, I'm not saying I don't hate you for like playing the game or for offering suggestions or anything like that. I kind of hate you for, not hate you, but I kind of blame you for not trying as much as you should. You didn't do your due diligence before you opened your mouth and talked about the game that a lot of people are very passionate about. A lot of people enjoy this game and they don't want this game ruined by Call of Duty players. That's me included. I'm not some FPS guy. I know who I am. I'm a Call of Duty player. I don't have the attention span for these games. I don't have the attention span for, things like Valorant or Rainbow Six or CSGO. I that's not for me. I like the Call of Duty games. Sure, they've sucked, but that's who I am. That's the fix I get. XDefiant was a close, competitor. I wish it was still around. Honestly, that was a fun game, but Battlefield quite different, and they want it to stay that way. I want to end this video off by saying, like, the real problem isn't Warzone players in general. It's the people who don't want to adapt, and they want to make their, like, the new game feel like the old game. That's just not what it's about. Okay. I would say let Battlefield remain Battlefield. Let Call of Duty be Call of Duty. We hated it as Call of Duty fans. We hated it when Call of Duty was trying to be Fortnite. We were just like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Just stick to what you're supposed to be doing. And then, for some reason they just didn't do it. They couldn't do it. And so now here we are. We are at this situation now where people don't want Battlefield to turn into that. The very last thing I'll say is that I've been hearing that FaceSwag has been receiving death threats for his takes and criticism. And obviously, I can't believe it has to be said, but like, it don't matter what he says on a video game, what he does, even if he cheats, you don't deserve death threats. Okay. Like, stop giving people death threats. This whole thing on the internet where it's like, I'm going to kill you because of your opinion. Like, stop, bro. It's like, you're not 12. Any of you are 12, like, stop. Okay. You sound like a little child. Okay. And it's like not funny because people like take it seriously, and with good reason. I would take it seriously too. If I got death threats, like, I'd be concerned. So just stop with that. Okay. It doesn't matter what he did or said. Just stop with it. Okay. It's ridiculous. Hopefully this video was helpful and informative. You know, again, no hate towards anybody. I know I gave FaceWag a lot of like shine in this video, towards about like, you know, not like basically just talking about him. But again, I don't hate him. I don't hate his content. It's just, it is what it is. You got to be wise before you open your mouth about things that you don't necessarily know about. So hopefully this video was informative and helped. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.